haven't went through the test or the class to go through the test or any of the training, they only see a part of it of us looking at their identification, then actually going through signing information and stamping. And so they just think, oh, that's all you got to do? No, that's not all we got to do. But this is all I need to do for you at this moment. So again, everything that looks really easy took some work to get there. And the more you do it, the more proficient you become. It looks like it's very, very simple. However, we do know there are certain challenges that we do face in this position, and it's very important for you to understand how to prepare yourself when you can actually get access to that information to be aware of what this might look like and how to position yourself to get through it and do it successfully. And so tonight we're going to go over our notary journal. Many of you, I hope, for those that may not have gotten a journal yet, it's because you just haven't really gotten started. And so that's acceptable. Just know that you need to have one to record all of your notarial acts whenever you notarize anything. It is optional, okay? However, it's best practice and it's essential when it comes to you really being serious about accountability, being responsible. All of those things work hand in hand with journaling everything that's happening when we go through our activities day to day. If we're very active or if we're having a notarization every so often, it's all important to record everything, family, friends, strangers. It's all about making sure that you are recording all your activities in a chronological order. And so having a bound notary journal is very important. So you don't have to worry about something tearing away very easily. So if you have a spiral notebook, you can see how easy it can those pages can tear out. And if you have something that's going to be for a very long time, it can actually, with normal wear and tear, it can go through some stuff. So, for example, this is a bound book when it comes to our actual manual, but unfortunately, I got falling pages because it's been worn for a while. This is over 10 years. So, when you think about having a journal for 10 years maximum when it comes to keeping all your records, the wear and tear of flipping the pages, writing it down, putting it back together, and then putting it into your your briefcase or whatever you hold it inside. Over time, the outside covers are going to start looking worn. And again, it's going to do what it's supposed to do. It's not going to look brand new. Brand new just means that you're just either very, very extra careful or you're just not really active. So again, mine has been through a lot. So I'm ready for the 2026 um, manual so I can actually break that one into. So without further ado, let's go to our actual presentation for tonight. So when it comes to, again, North Carolina Notary Journals, why optional is a risk you cannot afford. So when it comes to the North Carolina Journal reality, and if this is hard to read, just let me know. I'm going to read it out to you as well. So when it comes to just the law, optional versus essential, we are essential. As a matter of fact, when it comes to our position, that means we're important, we're needed. So that is what that word really means. And so the more that you can actually understand the importance of that, hopefully it will resonate for you to say, okay, before I notarize anything, let me have all of my tools in place so I can make sure that everything is going to follow really gracefully for me when I actually go out and do my job. So again, just think in that regard. The North Carolina legal standard is unlike many states. North Carolina law does not legally mandate a journal for traditional notary acts. The professional standard is journal diligence is not merely a good practice, it's the backbone of a trustworthy notary service. And then the core focus. Your journal is your primary tool for risk management, which is the focus of the professional foundation quarter. Then, when it comes to the primary purpose, which is your legal shield, a journal is your best defense in a dispute. Because again, it could be his word versus hers, or his versus his. It's all about what was written down, though, for your recollection, because a lot can happen in 1 year. Needless to say, 10, right? So again, we don't want to rely on our memory at all times. For us, that's really sharp. That is great. But again, every day you're consuming other information. And so when I say always be learning, there should be something you should learn every single day that's different. And so again, challenge yourself to learn something new every single day. And when you think about all that we already know and things that we may be training for to learn more information, that's a lot for us to retain. So the goal is to be able to be very strategic and responsible with the information that we're holding that we should have access to. Even when we do know it, but we may not be able to speak it verbatim, we should be able to know where to go to reference the information for factual, um, being able to factually speak it. So legal safeguard. The journal serves as an essential reference and legal safeguard for both the notary and the client's involvement. Audit trail. It creates a verifiable trail and a reliable and chronological account of the notary's professional acts or actions in case of legal scrutiny or disputes. Accountability. It ensures that every notarization can be verified and traced if a question about authenticity arises, and then verification in real time. Diligent record keeping allows you to quickly confirm the details of the notarization and provide the necessary information to validate the act. So, best practice content. What must you record? So, in our book, if you go to page 34, it actually has it on the very last paragraph. So you may want to highlight that. And again, it doesn't cover everything I feel should also be written. I don't know if the updated manual will have more information, but I will share my opinion of what I feel should be added when it comes to your journal. So when it comes to record, recording a detailed account of each notarial act performed, one, you want to make sure you have the date and time of the notarial act. I will have one of our notaries that's here in our group right now share what she does, because she has inspired me, because she is so detail oriented, and she is she's in her first term, but because she takes what she does very seriously, she doesn't miss anything. So when I say that she is very, very well organized and detail oriented, this is something that we can all learn from her method of recording information when it comes to just making sure we cover everything. So the names and signatures of the person when it comes to the principal signers, that should be something that you're recording in your journal. Type of document notarized, meaning was it a deed, a power of attorney? Was it a certificate of title? What type of document, what is the name on the document for you to record in your journal? Type of notarial act performed. Did you actually do an acknowledgement, or did you perform a jurat where you had to administer an oath or an affirmation? Was it a verification or a proof document? So again, those are all about the types of notarial act that needs to be recorded. So that way, again, those things are very, very important when it comes to, not all of our notarizations are equal. So we need to make sure we're identifying what actually happened. Method of identification used, satisfactory evidence or personal knowledge. So you're dealing with state issued IDs. It could be a situation you need a credible witness, or you personally know someone that you're actually notarizing for. So again, that is important for you to record that information. What's not in our notary manual is any fees charged for the service. When it comes to, did you actually charge them, one, for the notarial acts, and if you did, how much did you charge? Then if you're charging for travel, how much did you charge for that, and how many miles did you travel? So recording this information can help in several ways when it comes to your fees. When you're filing your taxes at the end of the year, you can now have a realistic number when it comes to how much mileage you actually drove all year for your notarial acts collectively. That is something that you can actually add to your taxes for your business expenses, right? The same when it comes to your fees for the notarial acts. It is again not it is it's not taxable. So you want to still report it, but once everything is calculated, it's zero out when it comes to that particular part of your services. Now, if you're doing additional services as a notary, that is not. I'm talking about that ain't. That is not a tax write-off. Okay, so that is something that again is taxable income, and the IRS do want to know what they're going to actually get from that. So we want to make sure we're giving the right information when we are recording this. When it comes to other things in your journal, it should be a section for notes. So that way you can add more information when it comes to what you feel may be interesting enough, or you feel like it's beneficial to write down specific things. For example, if you saw that there was a lot of pills or medications by your principal signer's bed, you want to make sure you notate that, because the question is, were they coherent? Did you go through the probing questions, making sure that they did this willingly? They did this in a, in sound mind. So those things are something that we should always pay attention to when we're notarizing. So again, our notes are something that's going to help us. If when we write it down, it actually helps us with our subconscious mind to remember these things at a later date, than just going through the actual steps alone. So again, when we write things down and recording it, it does help us with our memory in that regard. So all of these things can be very helpful when we are again recording the acts that we have done. So when it comes to a notary journal, the backbone of integrity, elevating your professional practice. It ensures transparency. Keeping a detailed journal is fundamental to a notarial practice as it provides a reliable chronological record. It mitigates risk. It helps protect you against potential disputes by having documentation that showcases your adherence to the law and the notarial best practices. It demonstrates diligence. When working with clients, loan signing companies, or title companies, maintaining a meticulous journal demonstrates a commitment of professional accountability. So again, you have people that's constantly observing you, and you don't know what position they may hold as a principal signer. They could actually be in a position of authority in other spaces, where again, if they see how you actually handle your business with them, it could be an opportunity that they may want you to work alongside them in other things that they do. So again, you just never know when an opportunity may present itself. So this is something that you want to always think about is, who is that principal signer? You're there to actually assist them for their notarials, as you actually helping them with their legal documentation as a notary. However, they have a lifestyle beyond those papers. So they may not have that conversation for you to know, but them being able to observe you and your detail, or your way of paying attention to detail or lack of, can open a opportunity for you that you did not even see coming. It was just the fact that you took care of your business in a way that you was taken seriously at the same time. So when it comes to, in summary and next steps, you want to commit to journal diligence. The notary journal is not a legal requirement in North Carolina, but it is an indispensable professional tool for risk management, integrity, and personal legal defense. Your action item: make a commitment today to start or refine your meticulous record keeping process. All right. So, again, do you not owe it to yourself to be the best notary for the community, the position that you're holding? So, again, take that very serious and do what you can do with that. So, ready to if you're ready to deepen your knowledge, the next step on your journey is through the Notary Basics Accelerated Workshop. This is an extension of you becoming a commissioned notary. You may feel stuck and you're just like you haven't done anything. Well, why is that? Why are you stuck? You have a manual, you have a go-to if you have questions and you have resources in that capacity as well. But sometimes you might just need more of a person support group in a way. So the goal is for you to find out what's going to work best for you. And I do offer trainings beyond just actually our TNTs. The TNT can help you get to know me better in a sense of how I conduct business, how do I actually deliver information, and just building that relationship. I created the journals that you see here on this screen. I have over 100 different illustrative journals because I believe in creating something that is for us that's going to help us along our journey day to day. So in my journal that I created, I have all of the things that is listed in our manual that need to be covered, but I also have the verbiage of administering the oath or affirmation on every single journal entry. I create confidentiality where you are able to make sure no one else's information is exposed when it comes to you actually writing down information. That is something that we are responsible for as well. We should not allow another principal signer to see a previous entry of somebody else's. That's none of their business. So again, we have to guard that information, just like we have to guard our social security number and guard our children. So again, that is as deep of a responsibility that we have when we're out and about and helping someone. If you go to the UPS store, what do you see? You usually see a uh, like a notebook on a countertop with a list of names and dates exposed to the world. That should not be happening. But UPS store, they don't care. And it's unfortunate that their notaries are not working in the capacity of securing people's information as we have learned, and we should be taken very seriously. So again, we want to make sure that we're taking the time to pay attention to what we're investing our money into to make sure we're getting the investment out of it, to make sure that we're doing everything we're supposed to be doing to help our job be more proficient, as well as us making sure that we're protecting the public that we're serving, and always trying to make sure we are identifying fraud or forgery. Okay, because the goal is to prevent those things from happening by making sure we're doing everything we're supposed to be doing based on what the law says we should be doing. So if we're arming ourselves in that way, then we should be protecting everything that holds dear. Okay. So we're going to now go to our forum. So if you have any questions, this is the time that we can actually cover. And you can actually either put your questions in the Q&A portion of the chat, or you can just raise your hand and we can actually allow you to get your questions answered. But I do want to have Miss Vicky to actually share with us how she handles her notarial acts when she records them. She is the notary that I was speaking about earlier because she is, again, very impressive when it comes to how she conducts her recordation of her notarial acts. Miss Vicky.
Okay, yeah, I am probably boringly detailed oriented. Journal that I have is similar to Belinda's, but not quite the same. It's an 8.5 by 11, and I get 2 per page. I do have a privacy shield that I have made that will cover either a full page or a full page and half of the next one. Um, it unfortunately only has a place for 2 people, a signer and a witness. And when you're doing POAs, it takes 2 witnesses, so it takes a second journal entry. I was also asking, do people normally put the witnesses in their journals? Uh, a lot of people that have used the single line NNA ones do not use the journal entry for the second line. Uh, I do a separate journal entry for every stamp for all practical purposes. So every document has its own timestamp, its own principal, and witnesses as needed. The description, as you said, I had the time started, the time ended, the mileage started, the mileage ended, the total mileage, the fees, that's part of my journal. The types of documents, a note section, which usually I put in there how I was contacted, because I get contacted by text, I get contacted by Google Voice, straight text. someone was asking on power of attorneys, we do have to notarize their witnesses. So in that particular case, I do. On loan documents, I can't speak to that. So I record every if they sign. Okay, I'll give a really good example. I did the Wills for Heroes a month ago. They had four documents: a will, a power of attorney, healthcare power of attorney, an advance directive, and a financial power of attorney. There were 10 signatures on there, so they signed my journal 10 times. And I had to fill some of the stuff in later, but there were 10 signatures on the document and 10 signatures in my journal. Is that kind of what you're asking for, Belinda?
Yes. So I don't have them sign for every document that they actually I had notarized. However, I do have them accounted for in the journal entry for all the documents that was notarized, and I captured the one signature that I will now have on file to confirm that they were in my presence, along with, of course, recording everything dealing with their ID. So I make sure I record their ID number in our 2016 book. It says for us not to record your or the ID. Can you mute for a moment, Miss Vicky, because I hear myself echoing right now. So when it comes to just how that works, when it comes to me actually putting in the ID number, whether it is a state ID or a passport, every ID has a number. And so, 2005 Identity Theft Act, it allows us to record that information in our journals. Ozzy was able to confirm that there was an error made in that 2016 manual. So when it comes to the 2026 manual, that should be updated saying or not having that as do not record it. Social security number should never be in our journals, okay? But again, an ID number helps us. Otherwise, how could we have actually recorded that number? So another extra layer of protection when it comes to who was actually presently before you when it comes to that actual ID. So again, that is recorded. I put down exactly if it's North Carolina DMV or if it's a federal passport. Then I actually go through making sure I put down the issuance date as well as the expiration date because again, we have to make sure it's an unexpired ID. So if we take the habit of writing those things down, we know for a fact based on the date that we actually notarized it and the date that's on the ID, this is the way that we can prove it was in good standing at the time we notarized for them. So again, it's all about fact checking what really happened that day when you notarize for someone. So the more information you can actually put on your journal, the safer you can be and how you can protect yourself and the person that you're actually notarizing for. Okay. So thank you for that, Miss Vicky. I have Dave with his hand raised and
Uh,
Deanna.
Belinda, can you check on your end to see if something got turned off? Because when you're speaking, captions aren't generating, but when Vicky was speaking and now when I'm speaking, the captions are generating.
Oh, I took mine off. So you want mine back on?
I find it very helpful. Yes, please.
Okay, so let me see if I can find it to put it back up here. In the meantime, you can
And I
go.
included a copy of my journal.
You do what now?
I put a copy of my journal in the chat.
Okay. Let me see if I can find my. Um, Let me remember where it's at. Deonica, you had your hand raised, so you can speak while I'm trying to still search for my feature. You're on mute if you're speaking.
My bad. I was gonna say, I also have a lock bag for my journal. Um, it's a zipper, but I can put a code on it to lock it.
Mm,
And I keep my stamp in my journal in that bag because it is to keep it extra secure.
Okay, good. Thank you for that. And
You have
I
two
have,
questions in the
That's what I was about to say.
chat.
okay, help me guys, go ahead.
Um, do you do the oath every time you are about to stamp the document?
The oath should be administered or affirmation before anyone signs anything. So the order of operation is when you get the document, you review the document, go straight to the notarial act so you can actually see the language to identify if it has a sworn or affirmation stated in the notarial certificate. So you can be prompted to know you are going to have to administer an oath or affirmation. You can properly identify your principal signer, let them know at that time that it's going to require them to be under oath or affirm, and for them to choose which one. Then once they make that selection, then you will go through making sure that that's administered before they sign before you, that you should be watching when they sign their name, and then again cross-reference that signature immediately to the ID. So the ID should be in your presence the entire time that you're actually working with the principal signer. The only time you give them back that actual ID is after you actually place your seal onto the paper, because now that completes the process. But you want to make sure again before you sign anything, before they sign anything, you have already administered the oath of affirmation, and this is by law. Did I answer your question?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Um, are we supposed to put witnesses in our journal since we aren't notarizing their signatures?
Most times you are notarizing their signature if it is an estate document or estate planning document. So, like a lot of the powers of attorney for healthcare as well as fiduciary, well, those don't require a witness, but the documents that usually require two witnesses, you're supposed to properly identify them. Now they become principal signers as well because now they're being part of the record of the document in itself. So this is one of the reasons why we ourselves cannot be a notary and a witness at the same time, because we become part of the actual document for record. But you do or you should be properly identifying the witness, because if we don't do that, who is actually on the paper? Who is actually witnessing this? If we don't do that part of identifying in our record who was present. So that is part of the process. And with that being said, witnesses' signatures that we witness, we do or we have the ability to charge the $10 for that as well. The only type of witness we cannot charge a fee to is a credible witness. A credible witness is actually treated the same way as an ID. We can't charge for the ID, right? So again, a credible witness is used in the same capacity of verifying someone's identity. We can only charge the principal signer for their signature, but not the credible witness. So, yes, when we're doing a witness verification, we are supposed to record that information so we'll have that on record as well in our journal.
Another question is, so we are supposed to put the driver's license number down, correct?
It will be great to do that, because otherwise you will not have confirmation of the identification other than what you wrote down as far as what type of ID. But if you don't have the ID number and something happens and you're called to be questioned, they're now able to reference that identification number to what you recorded. Hopefully that you did not mistype something or miswrite something, to actually look into the system if this is the information on file for DMV or for the passport. So again, that would be best practice to record the ID number.
Next question is, for clarification, if there are 6 documents that were notarized, should there be 6 entries in our journal?
If you want to actually, you should be 6 entries of the documents. in your journal. Yes, you should record exactly what all you notarize. That's proper recording of all of your notarial acts. So if you have six um, documents that you notarize, then that should be, if you're charging $10, that's $60. So you should have something to actually be able to confirm how did you collect $60. If you don't have something to support the $60, then that may be a concern and a problem if you're ever questioned or audited. So you want to make sure you do record every notarial act that you notarize.
I think that's it. I think I got them all.
All right, Dave, I think I have to do that in the beginning of our session. So I'll try to make sure I keep it on going forward. I just like to see my entire screen. So that kind of blocks part of it or kind of squishes it together. So I apologize, but I'll definitely make sure for you. I'll have it there for you. Okay.
Um, Whatever you did didn't solve the problem. Captions are coming through for everyone else who's speaking, but they're not coming through from you. There must be some glitch because it usually works fine.
No,
We'll
what?
figure it out
So
for next week.
thank you for that. Um, so any other questions or comments? Again, we talked about our notary journal. However, if you have a probing question that you really just want to get an answer for, this is the opportunity to do so. So it doesn't have to be on the topic for tonight's Tuesday Notary Tune-Up. It could be just anything in general because the goal is for you to be able to get your answers while you're here live on the forum. So we're going to go to Nika, Dave, and then Reese.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. So my question is because I'm still getting used to being a notary, and this is something that I'm trying to learn as I go on with everything. So when you all say participant signature, that's the line where the person who has to sign it would sign, right? And
So it's
it's per participant signature of that person that's signing their name.
it's not participant that we were saying, it's principal signer. Yeah. So like the principal of a school. So it's the principal signers that we are actually recording when it comes to our journal because it's the same one that we're witnessing when we're notarizing their document. If I answered your question.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for that question, Nika. Okay, Dave, you're next, and then Reese, and then Miss Vicky.
Oh, one comment on journals and then a question about oaths. The journal comment is that apparently journals are required in New York State, and there's a bill in New York State to make them optional, no longer be required. And apparently this has caught the attention of NNA, and they keep posting messages on their Facebook group asking people in New York to write letters to their representatives and senators asking them to kill the bill. So NNA loves journals too. And
Well,
my oath
best
question
practice.
is that this has been in a couple of posts on the Secretary of State's group in the past week with a whole oddball variety of answers. If someone is taking an oath, what is and is not required and what's acceptable in terms of having an actual religious book present for the person taking the oath to put their hand on, or taking the oath without a book present and them just visualizing the book that's relevant and meaningful to them in their mind.
So we have smartphones now that we can actually have an app based on whatever belief you have. So the person who's actually been administered the oath to, they have the right to choose what they want to have their left hand placed on. So the difference between an oath versus an affirmation is that you are swearing to a deity. And just to be very clear, you have those that may not have a belief in anything. Well, then they should affirm. on their personal honor, because that's the alternative. So they have an option that we are again supposed to give them freely, because again, we don't know what a person's belief is. We don't want to insult anyone, but based on exactly what the legislation says, it's in the legislation as far as what that may look like. So if you're a Christian, you may have a Holy Bible. If you're Muslim, you may have the Quran. So based on your belief, you may have your own scriptured or holy book that you can actually place your left hand on. And if you don't have a physical book, you can use your phone and use your actual digital format of what that may be. But you always have to make sure the person has their right hand raised, regardless to what they believe. That is part of the protocol of what we must do to properly administer an oath or an affirmation. Otherwise, it invalidates the entire process if we miss that step. And that's still a violation that can cause us to actually have our commission revoked or suspended. So it's very serious if we do miss that. And I see it happening a lot in certain places. And again, the more you know, the more you should be able to improve to make sure you're not making that careless mistake. Did I answer your question, Dave?
Well, you probably did, but since I'm not getting the captions, I couldn't understand everything you were saying. Vicky posted a comment, and I was going to say the same thing. I think there's something in GS 11 and 11-11 that speaks to being able to take an oath without an actual book being present. And when it was written, cell phones didn't exist, so someone couldn't bring up a book on the phone. I think that you can take, there is something there that says you can take an oath without the book being present. You put your right hand up and you do what you want with your left hand, but there doesn't have to be a book in real form or phone form for you to put your hand on. Otherwise, I mean, part of that is it would sort of disqualify people, because you can't expect the notary to have all the books that people might want, and you can't expect the principal to know that they're going to be taking an oath, or what it means to take an oath, and be bringing the book with them or carrying it all the time. And that seemed to be the way that they provided an avenue for that someone could take an oath without the book.
But that's
So
an affirmation, though, right?
But
yeah,
not
an
an
affirmation will allow it.
affirmation and oath, that they'd be still swearing to the deity of their belief, but the book doesn't need to be there. I'll send you something about it via email as directed, not by Facebook Messenger, and show you what we're talking about.
Okay.
I put it in the chat, Dave. The text of the stat.
Yeah, I see it. It's interesting text, and apparently that statute comes from something like, was it 1777? It's been there for a long time.
Once again, they have the different updates and, of course, the different bills that may change some of the verbiage. But based on what's currently out there, then that's what we have to follow. I know we have our different opinions and possibly beliefs as well. But again, when it comes to the law, we have to again make sure if we're in this position as a notary public, we have to follow exactly what the notary laws say, regardless if we're going to stay in this position. So until Ozzy say otherwise, then that's what I usually try to make sure we just stick with exactly what the manual says and what the general statutes that I have been able to read say. And it all says that the left hand should be on a holy scripture. It doesn't say which one. And that's the reason why, again, when it comes to describing the definition of what an oath is, it simply says it's when you're actually swearing to a deity, whatever that God may be. It could be someone's statue. Other people have different beliefs. Some people believe in crystals and things of that nature. So again, we cannot discriminate. We cannot tell people what they can and cannot do other than what we require them to do if they're going to actually be sworn under oath. If they say, well, I don't want to put my hand on a holy scripture, well, you have the option to affirm. And that removes that from that whole discussion because, again, it's an option. And that's, again, how I see it. And I'm going by exactly what I've read. So that's the best thing I can actually share when it comes to exactly what is in writing. It's not my decision, it's what I'm reading. So I have to follow that, right? And so, again, if you don't want to swear, you have the option to affirm. Andrea, Reese's, then we got Sequela and Deonica. You're on mute if you're talking. Okay, so I don't know if something changed. So let me get to or did she actually get come out? She may be having some issues with her technology. So Miss Reese, you can go ahead and speak, and then we're gonna get Sequela and then Deonica.
Hi, everybody. Okay, I have two questions. Okay, a notary can marry people. Can you kind of expound on that a little bit?
So where are you getting that information from?
Um, I heard it somewhere. Is that true? That
In
we
South
can,
Carolina. In
oh, in
South Carolina.
South Carolina. Okay.
South Carolina notaries can actually officiate weddings. North Carolina, we
Okay.
cannot. We have to be an ordained minister.
Okay, thank you. I think I got it from somebody. Okay, thank you. Secondly, how about wow. Okay, secondly, oh God, I forgot. Okay, witness, if a witness ID is not, um, if the witness's ID is not correct, so we can't do anything for that principal.
Or if they have an invalid ID, meaning it's not
Mm-hmm.
current and it may be also expired, that is correct.
Okay. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, the only way around that is personal knowledge.
Okay, thanks.
You're very welcome. Sequela, you're next, and then Deonica.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I just want to make sure that I understand, going back to the oath and affirmation. Say if the document does require an oath, um, and the person may be an atheist, do we still have, can we still go ahead and give them that option to just go ahead and affirm, even though the document may require an oath?
No, so anytime you see the word oath, it means it's a jurat. A jurat is an oath or an affirmation. So by law, we have to give whomever we're having to administer an oath or an affirmation to the choice. If they're atheists, then they're going to probably affirm on their personal honor. That is the alternative to an oath.
Okay, I was just trying to make sure I understood. Okay. Okay, maybe what I was trying to say then is if the document asked them to swear then.
Once again, you're
Yeah.
using the word swear. Now, I would like for you to understand if you go to your manual, and this is going to help all of us that's here. You need to go to page 47. We're going to start with page 46. This is really important. So page 46, you have paragraph that says administration of oaths. Administering an oath or affirmation when required for the notarial act is critical for the notary because failure to do so is notary misconduct that may result in the revocation of the notary's commission. The notary's role is important in making a record that may be legally necessary to confirm that the principal swore or affirmed that he or she will uphold a standard, abide by some code or set of standards, or swear to the truthfulness of the statements in a document before a public officer. Now, when you go to where the information about an oath, breaking down that definition as well as an affirmation, Again, if you go to the word jurat and you want to go to your definitions, which is in chapter 3, excuse me, chapter 4, and the word jurat on page 23, it says a notary's certificate evidencing the administration of an oath or affirmation. Many times, documents is going to lead with the word sworn, okay? And that again indicates it is a jurat where we still have to give them the option. The same as you may come across where you have it said he appeared before me. It could be a she, but when it comes to the majority of documents, it's going to lead with the word he and not she. Even though a woman or a female may be before us, the document does not know. It's just again letting us know that it's a person, okay, that's going to be before us, and we just actually make sure we are doing exactly what we need to for that principal signer that's in front of us. So anytime you see the word sworn, and you're going to usually see that more so than affirm, it's going to mean that you got to give them the choice, okay? A lot of documents don't have sworn or affirm, but it means the same thing that you need to, or it would be very helpful for us to understand when we come across the word sworn or oath, that we're going to always give the option, because that's what the law says, is that we give them the choice from the two. So again, you may lead with one word, but it interchangeably means that you need to give them the option. It means the same that they're under perjury. They have to be honest with the information they're giving when they are placed under oath, where they're having their right hand up the whole time, because that's part of the requirement when we administer either one to them. Does
Okay.
that help?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
It's just a
No, no, no,
little
no. Don't apologize. You are one of hundreds that
confused.
are debating, like, okay, but it says this. Yes, the word says this, but also when we read more into what that really means, it does mean that it's optional when it comes to either the sworn statement or the affirmation statement.
Okay. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Deonica, you're next.
So I got tired of trying to find the pages in my book. So I typed out the oath and affirmation. Like I have the oath up here and the affirmation here from the book to
Yeah.
let them choose so that they can see. Because I went to a doctor's office to notarize a form for them. I think it was that day that I called you. And
Okay. Yeah.
I asked her if she wanted to swear or affirm, and she said swear. She was like, I knew it was gonna have God in it, and she is not a religious person at all. She said that because I know her personally.
Okay.
I was like, I should have just I should have known. I should have just, and I was
Mm-mm.
like, you can
You did exactly
affirm.
what you're supposed to.
Yeah. No, but in my mind, I was like, I knew this was gonna happen. But I said, you can affirm. You don't have to swear to a God or anything. You can just affirm. And she's like, okay, whew, thank you. So I just typed them out so that people can see it and read it. And I have my little handy dandy clipboard with my logo on it now. So
Yes.
I just
Yes.
pull it out, and it's just so much easier for me to have it all in one place.
And
Um,
that's good because it's on our on the page in our book like that too. And this is the thing too, for us to remember. We're not an attorney, so we can't advise, but we
right,
can define.
right,
If someone says, "Oh, what's the difference?" An oath is you're swearing on a deity with your right hand raised and your left hand on a holy scripture of your choice. Affirmation is your, again, doing an oath,
person
but it is
honor,
affirming on your personal honor with your, again, right hand raised. So that way they know now, based on the definition, which one do they really prefer,
yeah,
because some people are not well versed on certain words.
right.
And again, it depends on who your audience is at the time that you're actually trying to notarize a document for them.
I just printed it off, laminated it, and I just keep it in my bag.
That's good. So
Um,
again, during your journey, you found that that was helpful to
mhm,
actually create. So that's something that you're all fine. What's going to work well for you based on your experiences?
yeah. Sarah had a question in the chat. Are there some reliable apps where notaries can get some assignments something similar to MAV sign, but different types of work, assisted living and abandoned safe deposits.
That makes
So
sense to everybody? Because I went on YouTube and I found Notary to Notary, and she gave a few leads, and one of them was MAV sign. So if you sign up for the app, and it'll send you some assignments that are in your area, and you can take them if you want. By the way, hello.
hey, Sarah.
So
So it's almost
I
like
was
Thumbtack. There's different apps out there, but a lot of them they want you to they'll charge you. Okay, so Thumbtack is one that I don't actually deal with because it's a notary. We only are able to charge $10 per signature. We do not know exactly what a customer may need when it comes to these different assignments. They may have changed and updated their system, but you will just have to again research the different informations of that what you find out there to see if it's going to work for you. Because most of these applications are definitely not free. There's usually commission based, where if you get the assignment, then they're going to take something away and you're having to put a card on file. And I've heard a lot of people having bad experiences when their account is in the negative and they haven't made anything. So this is why, again, when it comes to just going through having conversations with different organizations and businesses to actually try to promote yourself, applications can be helpful. But again, there's a whole lot of misconceptions out there. So it's better for you to actually just put your information out, create a Google Business profile page so people who need a notary can eventually find you once you are set up properly and you're going around passing out your business cards, letting people know that you are a notary. We have to go old school because remember, technology has not been as advanced as it currently is, but paper has always existed. So if we go back to the basics, the fundamentals, we can see that it still works. And so it's just one of those things where you got different types of applications for different things, but not everything works for everybody.
okay. All right. So once I and my only excuse for not doing it sooner is my daughter just had a son a couple of months ago. So
Congratulations.
thanks. It's been quite the adventure. Uh, is to sign on the Notary Public page on the Secretary of State website. Is that also something we should be doing?
As far as putting your name on the page to be found,
Yes.
most definitely. You can actually put exactly what you want the public to see. So if you want to make sure they have a number to call you or email address, that is something that you want to put. If you don't want them coming to your home, do not put your home address in there. But you just want to make sure you can let them know what all you do. So if you're an electronic notary, you can put that there. So it's a free way of advertising through the Secretary of State site, and that's a trusted source because if you're not an active notary, your profile will not be up there either. So again, it's a way that if a person who called me that I never did business with, I actually am forthcoming. I said, well, if you want to confirm my credentials, this is the website. You can actually go to the Secretary of State. This is how my commission name is, because what I want to make sure is to make them feel they have no reason to question my status when it comes to them reaching out to me, because there are some notaries that are not supposed to be actually actively notarizing anything. So this can help when you're positioning yourself and using their platform.
I'm sorry,
Okay.
I missed that what Sarah said. What is that about the state of secretary?
The Secretary of State has a way that you can list your information for people to contact you when they're looking for find a notary. You want to go onto the website and create a profile, an account, pretty much, where you're gonna open it up with your commission number. You're gonna put in your information, and you can call the Secretary of State's office to have them walk you through it. If you can't find it, or you can reach out to me after at a time that I'm not here to actually go through it with you. That's not a problem for me to do. But yeah, it's all on the website where you can list your information at no cost. And when someone's looking for a notary, they'll put in their zip code. and every notary that's in that area will start coming up for them to choose from. And we have Tina and then Andrea.
I gotta have my hand up.
Okay.
I was getting back to the journal and the oath and the affirmation, and I put in the comments, that's why I love your journal. Because it's at the bottom. Well, the oath statement is at the bottom. However, if they want to be affirmed, then you just leave out the word "so help you God." But they're still affirming that the statements in the document are true. So on
Correct.
every page of Belinda's notary journal, that oath of affirmation statement is on the bottom. So that helps me out a lot. So I'm not having to remember, oh, what am I supposed to say? All that. So it goes smooth and it actually looks like I know what I'm doing because, yeah.
It's not like you know what you're doing, because you do know what you're doing. That's
I
the whole
do
point
know
of
what I'm
school.
doing, but it looks real good, professional, and all that stuff in front of the client. So yeah. And it's like you should see sometimes when they looking at me like it's so serious. You know what I'm saying? It is
Yes,
serious,
yes,
but it's just what I'm trying to say.
I
Yeah.
do. But
So
they have that appreciation and
yeah,
gratitude that they have someone that's professional
right.
handling their
Correct.
affairs because it's that serious. Yes.
Yep. And she even has spots for two witnesses and for their signatures. And that's also helpful as well. So you don't have to create space in your journal. You know what I'm saying? To write their names down. This journal was well thought out. I'm almost finished with it, so I will be getting another one. But
And you have the one that has 250 entries, right?
I have the one that has 250 entries. Actually 252. Yes,
Well, no, it's
entries.
250. It's accounting the first page.
Oh, not the couple of okay, well 250.
Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, I'm almost done, so I will be ordering another one. But for those that don't have a journal, this one is very, very helpful.
And after Andrea, I will show you exactly what the journal covers look like. And then we're going to end for tonight because we're now at 7:35. So I thank you guys. We're at 26 capacity, and you guys like, oh, this is interesting. Let me just kind of stay in here just a little bit longer. So Andrea, go ahead, sweetheart.
Hi, everyone, and hi, Miss Belinda. So my question is on the sovereign citizens that we had on the 23rd with Captain Flowers and the
Yes.
safety of notaries when we are put in a situation where we feel like when we go into their homes, and if we are not, if we decide to decline the act and we feel like we might be in danger, he said to go ahead and notarize it and settle that later because our safety is more important than, telling someone, no, we're not going to notarize it. We don't feel like, it's not legit. So my
Hmm.
question is, in the event that we are in that situation, who do we contact to let them know and then have that situation taken care of on our end?
So you're going to definitely report it to the Secretary of State Notary Enforcement Division. You can follow up with your local police department. So because you have the address of where you were at, they should have signed your journal. And this is another way of making sure you're cross-referencing information from their ID to us actually on your journal. Now, because you have sovereign citizens that are changing their last name to like an L or Bay or other names that kind of coincide to the Moorish belief, it's all about just again recording everything on the identification that you have before you if it matches exactly what the state ID has. So again, we have to first make sure they know the only way we can notarize something is based on the validity of the identification they present to us. And if you're in a situation again where you feel like you are in danger, then it's just a matter of again doing the best you can, where you may actually not even sign your name like you would normally sign your name, because if you're scared, it usually kind of shows in your writing. Okay. And so again, the validity of that document may not hold weight if you're able to again report to authorities of what all occurred so they can now investigate and look into it further. Now, what happens after that, again, is out of your control. And again, if you are notarizing, your seal is on that document. So the best thing you can do is just record and document everything on your journal, so you can actually have that to go back to if you have to go to court. If this person has been arrested, you might have to have your testimony where you're having to be presented and you're now able to share what all took place. So that's the best thing you can possibly do, is just kind of write down details of what all occurred, so you can actually make sure that you can do what you need to do to report them. And again, you're going to have to wait until after you leave, get to a point that you can calm your nerves, because again, that can be a very frightening situation, depending on the person that you are. And again, to be intimidated by someone that actually makes you feel as if though your life is threatened, that is again something to not take lightly. But you do want to make sure you go to a safe space. Go ahead and call the authorities, and then again, make sure you have someone who knows where you're at all times. There are so many different apps out there when it comes to um, I forgot the app that we talked about with a few notaries over the weekend, but it's something 360, where you have family members that can actually know where you're at to the very point, which is so detailed and great. So at least have one person that can identify where you're at, no matter what time of day, because you just never know. So that to me brought in a lot of good information when it comes to how to handle that. And again, the Secretary of State can actually walk you through other things at that time when you actually do report this to them. Did I answer your question?
Yes, you did. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. So when it comes to the if you jot down this website, ncnotarypublicjournal.com, it's going to take you straight to the Amazon page that has a lot of the featured um, journals, and I have them for both states. Started with North Carolina because again, I wanted to make sure North Carolina is my state, and I wanted to make sure that I had something that could help notaries in general. So this is my staple journal that most notaries do get. It has 250 entries. This one has 200. So if you're in the medical field, if you're in a sorority, if you support nonprofit organizations like St. Jude, there's a notary journal for you. So again, there's so many different types. Military veterans. I'm a military Army veteran, so I created that inspiration for myself. And again, there's several different designs and illustrations. So hopefully you can find something that resonates with you when you go through this list. And it's extensive, guys. So I just happened to have all these ideas and it was just pouring out, and I just could not stop. And I would find myself up to like 6 o'clock in the mornings because I was on a roll doing this. And I really do enjoy creating things that I know as a resolution when it comes to what can help you guys be better at what it is that you're doing when it comes to, again, what matters. So you don't have a thumbprint because here in North Carolina it's not required. So I abstracted that completely out of the journal because that leaves us now more space for actually note taking, okay, when it comes to what we need to record in our journal. And so I would love to see you guys here next week. I have made a change when it comes to my locations of the 2-day Notary Basics Accelerated course. Instead of going to Asheville this year, I have now decided to go to Wilmington. So if you are in the Wilmington area and you really do want to actually have this class, I will be looking for locations for me to actually teach it there. The classes will always be on a Friday and a Saturday, a full day, because we're going over 16 documents that you would possibly go through in your journey as a notary. So from certificate of titles of a motor vehicle. We covered that, a bill of sale, passport for consent for minor form, handwritten document, estate planning documents, how to notarize a document for someone that's signing by mark or a designee. So all of those things are very helpful when you know exactly how to do things correctly, so it won't be rejected when a person is needing to file their paperwork or do what they need to do with it if you have not done all of the proper steps, leading to court documents and some real estate documents. So if you want to become a signing agent, this will give you a little introduction to how that would look when it comes to how you would actually handle it to a principal signer that hired you to come to their home to notarize the documents, or if you were actually contracted by a third party and you're responsible for printing these documents out, it looks totally different, and you have so many more responsibilities and accountability to actually put in place to perform this. So again, we go very detailed in how that is. And so, is there anyone here that took the class this past Saturday?
I'm sorry, can you repeat what you just said, Miss Belinda?
I was asking, is there anyone in the audience that took the class this past Saturday? If not this past Saturday, who has taken it this year?
I have, and I refer to it as the Notary Bible.
So, and when it comes to, again, those are the different places I will be at this year. And if you're watching the replay, please subscribe, like, and share this with fellow notaries. I thank you all always for coming up and showing up for yourselves. This has been a great opportunity for everyone that's here because you always listen from another person's perspective. And it's great just to actually have the camaraderie. Again, I really love what I do to help notaries statewide because I don't feel there's enough support, or we could get too much support, I should say, when it comes to what we do and the responsibilities that we bear. So again, taking this seriously will definitely help you help your community. Make sure things are done right the first time around. So again, applaud yourselves for exactly working in this capacity to help others in such a big way because it's more than just signing your name and stamping a piece of paper. We have, again, a whole lot of responsibilities to bear. And sometimes we can't even sleep at night because of the situation that we came across that was just so startling when it comes to just knowing someone's situation, and wish we could do more. And again, we can only do what we have been able to be governed to do in this capacity. So again, it's still a lot, and that's great because people need what we're doing as notarizing documents for them. So again, thank you guys for what all you do. I really appreciate all of you. And building relationships is what I'm about. It's not about a number of how many people show up. It's about who actually stays and really are able to give the support on both sides. I can learn from you. You can learn from me. So it's really a effort on both ways. So again, thank you guys. I hope to see you next Tuesday, Notary Tune Up. If you have not signed up for the North Carolina Notary Association 24th annual conference, is May 16th, excuse me, 14th through 16th. The conference day is on that Saturday, but we do have several training classes leading to the conference date. So if you're wanting to learn how to form your business, understand how to actually be a document courier when it comes to trust documents, how to apostille, and being a apostille facilitator and courier. Again, these classes, unfortunately, that one has been booked up a long time ago. But if you stay closer to us, you'll be able to learn these things. And we have Tina Jones Howard that I do recommend highly when it comes to the apostille. She will be our facilitator for that subject during the actual conference. And she has been doing this for a while. And again, she works with attorneys. So she does understand a lot of things when it comes to paying attention to detail. She has also capped or caught, I should say, errors that the authentication department has made. And that could have been very dire to the customer that the documents are supposed to be going to. And again, because she is very thorough and detailed and very advanced at this, she has saved a lot of clients a lot of heartache and time because again she was able to see, this is not right. And so you want someone like that on your team when you're actually working in this capacity, and it is an additional stream of income. You're still helping someone on the notarial level, but when you facilitate something, that is a separation and a business opportunity for yourself to actually make opportunities for yourself. So the goal is to always find ways to level up and always be learning. So I look forward to seeing you guys again, and I hope this has been beneficial and brought y'all some value. I hope you
Hey,
all have a wonderful night. Was there another question?
yes, somebody asked, when is the Wilmington, when are you going to Wilmington?
It's going to be September, um, September 25th and 26th.
What about Morehead City, Belinda?
Morehead City is going to be in June on the 25th, on the 26th and 27th.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. And if y'all want to get all of the dates of where I will be, you can go to the NC Notary Training.education website, and I have an entire calendar and list of everything that you can get access to. I do now have a mentorship program that I just launched, and it will be effective in April. It's going to start the third Monday of April. So for those that may not be able to do like the 2-day extensive training for the Notary Basics Accelerated, you'll have a one-on-one with me on Mondays, where you're going to spend 45 minutes going over exactly what it is that you're needing for 3 consecutive months. It's mandatory for you to actually commit to 3 months, because 90 days is usually the minimum time it takes for a person to be able to really do well at anything that they're trying to um, really actually do very well at. I should say become very proficient. So I meet you where you are. So no matter wherever you're stuck, I'm gonna unstuck you, okay?
And she will.
So, so again, the goal is to always make sure that we have the right notaries out there to help customers that need notarizations. Again, we are needed, not wanted. So the goal is to make sure with you putting yourself in this position, you're getting the support and the resources that you deserve to have access to. So again, me being able to help you with that has really brought a lot of joy and fulfillment for me. And again, I make it look easier than what it is, because I have worked very hard to get to this point. So I'm constantly working. I'm constantly working, creating more opportunities and better programs for you all, because that's the goal. April is Financial Literacy Month, and I am actually teaching a credit mastery class for 6 hours. It's going to be every Monday, starting next Monday from 8 to 9:30. It's $49.99. It does have a replay that you will have access to, and it's going to go over exactly how you can set yourself up for success, learning how to financially support yourself, because a lot of times you're not taking these opportunities to go through the trainings and conferences because it's like, I don't have the money. Well, the goal is, if you understand good debt and credit, I'm going to show you exactly how you can create both avenues for your business or you independently, so you can still have access to what you should, and then learn how to make the money to pay back what you owe, because the goal is to be responsible as well. And so again, I have a financial background. I have had a business to help people restore their credit. So everything that I teach is something that I personally have been able to do for myself, as well as create a business from that. It was financial Rise Up Financial Freedom Solutions, and the program that I created is Be About Your Credit. So the goal is to always make sure I can give back to my community. I have helped a lot of people be in a financial position to purchase homes, to actually get businesses started, and just level up. Because again, if you understand the process, you can do just like the other people do when you're like, oh man, how do they do that? Well, again, I'm gonna show you exactly how they did it. Again, knowledge is power. Is more powerful when you use it. Okay. So again, I look forward to seeing you guys soon, and have a wonderful night. And again, if you have any questions after this, you can DM me, message me, text me, or even email me. So again, I'm reachable and I will respond as soon as I can. Okay. So have a good night.
Thank you.
Good
Good
night.
Thank
night.
Thank
you.
you. Good
Good night,
night.
Night.
Belinda.